Everyone is done. Okay, fine. So I was saying that there are two kinds of heart in biology. One is called neurogenic, one is called myogenic. A myogenic heart, a neurogenic heart is associated with its central nervous system or the neurons that govern it. A myogenic heart is independent of the nervous system. So a myogenic heart, if you take that heart out of a patient's body, it can still continue to beat. Human heart is one example, correct? You must have seen human heart is able to beat even when it is outside the body, kept in a plate, right?
Yes, sir.
Any other organism you know whose heart continues to beat even if it's when outside of the body? Any idea? No example? Okay, so let me ask you one question now. Why I discuss this is, if humans have a myogenic heart. So if you have a myogenic heart, even if the patient is brain dead, which means the patient is not conscious. Coming to Halima's point, she said that there are people who are in coma, but still they are called living, right? Because they are living and they are considered living. Like humans have a myogenic heart. So when a human undergoes a brain dead situation and a coma, the heart will still continue to beat, right?
Yes, sir.
If it is on a support system, if there is no problem with the heart will still continue to beat. And if heart is continuing to beat, it is sending blood to each and every organ of the body, correct?
Yes, sir.
And with blood, nutrition will also keep distributing to each and every organ of the body, correct?
Yes, sir.
So technically, every organ of our body is well nutritioned, well fed, and actually is working. But the patient is in coma. The patient is brain dead. So biologically, will you call it a living patient or a dead patient?
A living patient.
A living patient, you will call it biologically? Yeah, because many biological parameters, vitals are there. Heartbeat will be there. There will be a pulse rate. There will be a blood pressure, right? Now let's look at a opposing scenario. Sometimes during a very sudden accident or something, patients sometimes die of shock. Their heart stops, right? It happens.
Yes.
Heart stops because of a shock and the patient dies on the spot. Then the medics come, and within first 15 to 20 minutes, with the help of a CPR and a defibrillator, the patient can be revived. So the patient was showing no vitals at all, no heartbeat, no blood pressure, no breathing, nothing. So was the patient dead or alive? No vitals. Out of shock, all heart stopped and organs stopped working. Blood stopped flowing. So no pressure, no heartbeat, no breathing. Will you consider that patient dead or alive?
I think alive.
Why?
He
Why?
was dead, sir.
Why alive? This
Maybe the brain must still be working. Okay.
Yes, perfect. So in the condition where patients die of shock, their heart stops suddenly, their brain is not dead all of a sudden. Like it at the moment instantaneously does not die. So Atif will still consider that patient alive because, and also within the first 15 minutes, it can be revived back through a resuscitation process like a defibrillator, which can bring back the heartbeat, right? Which means the patient never died biologically. Correct? Correct or
Yes.
not? Because once you are biologically dead, you cannot be revived. And that should be the definition of dead, where you cannot be revived back. Correct? That should be the ultimate definition of dead.
Yes.
Yes. So through this discussion, actually, biologically, the consensus also is we will consider a human living if the brain is showing activity. Correct? So brain alive is a alive person in according to biological terms because it has consciousness. And brain dead, which has no consciousness, is a dead person, even if on support system the heart is continuing to beat feebly and there is air which is being pumped in the blood and out. Sorry, pumped in the lungs and out of it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to tell you?
Yes.
So ultimately, consciousness becomes a very, very big criteria to say that it's a defining property of life. Because if something is not conscious about environmental stimulus, it is not alive. Or if something is not conscious, it cannot continue to alive. It is just showing some vital signs because it is on support system. So technically, if I ask, will you consider a brain dead patient dead or alive biologically?
Dead.
Dead. Very good.
Dead.
Rima, you started with a point, and I think it's clear to you now, right?
Yes, sir.
A brain dead patient biologically is a dead because it cannot be resuscitated back if the brain is dead, even if there is a feeble heartbeat or a feeble uh, breathing possible. Okay, the moment you will turn off the ventilator, the patient will die. Okay, cool, clear everyone. We'll come back to consciousness with some higher terms and concepts from entrance point of view, but just to make these things clear. Okay, now let's go through a quick recap till now. What things we discussed. We started with the fact that in biology, it's boring because it has a lot of things to remember. Terms are very confusing. So for that, from now onwards, we are going to study terminology. Okay. Second thing we went to study, understand was we started with reproduction, where parents produce offsprings which are similar to the parent in their adult form. We also discussed indirect and direct development. In indirect development, there is molting or metamorphosis that happens, where at every stage, egg becomes larva, larva becomes cocoon, or pupa, pupa becomes pupa encloses, and adult form comes out. It also happens with frogs, where the larva is called the tadpole and the adult form is the frog. Then we started discussing reproduction from the perspective of life process and a defining property. So it is a life process, but not a defining property of life, whereas consciousness is a defining property of life. So now everyone understand the difference between paralysis and coma. A paralysis patient is well aware of the surroundings and is conscious about himself, but just cannot control the voluntary muscles of the body. Okay, voluntary or involuntary both, but it cannot control the muscles of the body. Coma, on the other hand, is a whole different stage where the person is affected at the level of brain and consciousness. Okay, and if in a like as a severe stage, if the patient is brain dead, then we consider that patient dead biologically. Clear?
Yes,
And
sir.
we consider that patient dead because humans have a myogenic heart. So even if the brain dies, the heart can still continue to beat. In fact, the heart can still continue to beat if kept on a platter for some time. You take it out of the body and keep it on the platter. But that does not mean that the system is alive. The human is alive just because its heart is beating. Okay. So beating of heart is not like in depth. It is not the short way to say that a patient is alive. Also, to prove my point, how many of you know that recent science is advancing to a point where they are making artificial hearts which are made up of non-organic substances, a plastic derivative, a plastic based heart, because all heart has to do is to beat, right, and keep pumping the blood throughout the body. So if I take out the organic biological heart and put something and connect all the arteries and veins to that machine or that thing which is the size of the heart, which can continue to beat and pump the blood using the energy from artificial battery, like a pacemaker, the function of heart is still being fulfilled, right? So,
Yes.
so a person can in theoretically, because that kind of heart is not in practice now in medical practice. We do not, heart transplants are done with another organic real heart only. But let's say if this can be done someday in future, then it means that a myogenic heart is not a criteria to call someone living. Then technically people will be heartless, right? Literally. So someone is heartless or is like organically, it has a machine which is pumping, but just because its brain is active, it's conscious, it's called living, correct? A little
Yes.
complex,
Yes.
but I think you got it. Okay, now let's come back to reproduction, understanding that it is. So write down a few points about reproduction first, then we'll discuss it. Reproduction. First point, the process of reproduction is crucial. The process of reproduction is crucial for the continuation of species. Okay, Atif, yeah, you can come back. You can join in a few minutes. The process of reproduction is crucial for the continuation of species, but is not crucial for the survival of the individual. Okay. Now there are two types of reproduction. You all must have studied basics 101. First is called asexual reproduction, correct? And the other one is called sexual reproduction, correct? Okay, quickly tell me the difference between the two. Anyone? Let's begin with what you know, then I'll.
Sexual means that it is the production of offsprings with a single parent, with or without the involvement of gamete formation. And while the sexual reproduction means it is the process of two parents participating and also involves male and female gametes.
Right. So Memuna very correctly used the term here that in asexual reproduction, and correct me if I'm quoting you wrong, Memuna. So you said that in asexual reproduction there is only one parent involved, right?
Yes.
Whereas in sexual reproduction there has to have two parents, correct?
Yeah.
Everyone agrees with Memuna? First on this point, everyone
Yes.
agrees?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You said yes or no, Saifullah?
I told yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is something that you have studied till now. So I am going to tell you that to learn things, higher things in detail, you have to also unlearn. Okay. So some things which are taught to us in our primary classes are important to make foundations. Then someone, when you go to higher classes, you are told that, see, now you have to unlearn it and learn this new thing, which is a part of your new learning. So when we say asexual reproduction involves only one parent, we have to be more specific. What do we mean by one parent? What is that parent contributing? Okay. Mamuna also used a word called gamete, right? And she said, and tell me if I'm quoting you correct. You said that in a asexual reproduction there is no formation of gametes, right?
No, I said with or without the involvement of gamete formation.
Okay, so there, oh sorry, so you said there may or may not be formation of gamete, right?
Yes.
Yes. So one parent and may or may not form, sorry, gametes. Okay, so because you have used this Memona, I would like a clarification from you. If let's say there is formation of gametes, then how it is asexual? If there is a formation of gamete, you are saying with or without. So let's go to the with scenario. If asexual reproduction is happening with the formation of gametes, how it is asexual? Just think. You are not wrong. But this is what we are discussing in classes, especially what we discuss in my classes, is the fine line that makes the difference between you doing good in exam and you clearing an entrance. You know, in entrances, the funny thing is, they don't ask you something that you don't know. They only ask you something that you have never thought of in a twisted manner. You have to read between the lines to do good in entrances. So if you have to write a definition of asexual reproduction in a board exam or a school exam, you will get full marks if you write there is only one parent involved with may or may not involve formation of gametes, with or without the formation of gametes. Completely true. You get full marks. Very good. But I'm asking, if there is with the formation of gametes, then how it can be asexual? Namuna, anything you can think of?
Mm,
Tricky, right?
yeah, kind of.
Yes. So may or then we think that okay, the may word should not be there. So it should be one parent without the formation of gamete. But you are correct. There can be formation of gamete. Now let's come to the two parent thing first. Then we will discuss this thing in detail. Okay. You also said that in sexual reproduction there are two parents involved, and there is always formation of gametes, right?
Yeah.
Now here there is no scope of may or may not. With the formation of gametes, always. This is what you said, correct? So definitions are entirely true, completely true for boards. But now let's understand, if someone tries to twist and test your learning in entrances, how well will you do? When we say with or without the formation of gamete, the process of gamete formation is called gametogenesis. Okay, people. So now we are entering into something in detail. So pay attention. Gametogenesis. The word gameto means gamete. The word genesis means, what does genesis means?
Formation.
Yes, creation, formation. Very good. So gamete formation is called gametogenesis, the process of gamete formation. If it is specifically the formation of male gametes for humans, it's called spermatogenesis, right? This is something we have to study in detail. Lot of questions comes from these two processes in entrances. Spermatogenesis, because the male gamete is called spermatozoa. Sperm, spermatozoa, both. And if it is for the females, it's called oogenesis. Because the female gamete is called oocyte, ovum, or egg cell. All three means the same. Ovum, oocyte, or egg cell. Okay. So gametogenesis may or may not happen in asexual reproduction. Do you understand this thing? According to Mamuna's definition, gametogenesis may or may not happen in a asexual reproduction, but it has to happen in a sexual reproduction. Now my question was, how it is still asexual when there is gamete formation? Anyone with an answer? Because now I will ask the question, I will twist the question and ask you again, and I'm sure someone will answer. So let me ask. Does gamete formation ensures sexual reproduction? Is the formation of gamete enough to say that sexual reproduction is ensured? Let me ask you more clearer question. Does opening a bank account ensures that you are going to save now?
No.
What ensures saving?
No, sir.
Depositing something in that account that you have opened, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So if gametes are being formed in a male or a female body, does it make sure that now sexual reproduction is happening? What is
No, sir.
even more important to say that yes, sexual reproduction has happened?
Two parents.
Something which is more crucial than just formation of gametes. What is it called? Yes, someone is saying something. Is it?
Fertilization.
Yes. It's called fertilization. What is fertilization? The fusion.
The fusion of the male and female gamete.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So gamete formation does not ensure sexual reproduction, but gamete fusion ensures sexual reproduction. So it can still happen that there is an organism which is able to form gametes in its body, but still undergoing asexual reproduction. Clear?
Yes.
And why that can happen? Because it is just a single sex, a single parent, and it is not getting the other sex or the other parent so that it can undergo sexual reproduction. So it has gametes formed within itself as a system, as a screen sharing has been closed. Just give me two minutes. So which means an organism can still make gametes in its body and still can undergo a asexual reproduction because the other gamete or the other partner, other sexual partner is not present. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
This is how, with or without gamete formation, asexual reproduction can take place. But if you are writing gamete fusion, then asexual reproduction is always without gamete fusion. Okay? There cannot be gamete fusion at all. Now let's come to discussing the part of parent. Just 1 second. You all can see the screen again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the other thing Mamona used in her definition was parent. Now by parent, we simply mean the sex, which sex is involved. Okay, parent is no more a rigorous biological term. So we can get rid of the term parent from now onwards in our definition. Just 1 second. Yes. So instead of parent, we will now use the word sex. Either the male or the female, or there are two different kind of sexes present in living systems. Okay. Why I use the word sex? Let's come to that. Sometimes there are organisms which is a single organism, but in the same organism there are both male organs and female organs present. Do you know of any such organism? Anyone?
Plants. So can you repeat the question?
Sorry, you went too fast. Khalilur.
So plants.
Plants. You mean flower, right?
Plants. Yeah.
Yes,
Flower.
right. So they have both male and female organ present in the same flower, right? So there I ask you, can the same plant, the same one single parent, because it's very difficult for us humans to see plants as parents, because we do not appreciate them as individuals, because we do not name them, like, this tree is called Ramesh, Ramesh is my neem tree. So if there is a bisexual plant, a single plant, which means both male and female organs are present in its flower, is it capable of sexual reproduction?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right. It can also happen with earthworms. Let's come to animals. Earthworms have both ovaries and testes in their body, in the same body. And such animals which have both the organs present are called hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites. Okay. Write down hermaphrodites. You can just write it down. Hermaphrodites are organisms having both male and female sexual organs in the bracket write gonads. Both male and female sexual organs or gonads in the same body. Okay. Now, if I ask you, can an earthworm, just a single parent, a single earthworm, can it undergo sexual reproduction?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It can.
Yes. So, Memuna, would you like to now change your definition? Do you understand what needs to be changed in your definition?
Yeah.
Yes. So, if I say instead of parent, I use the word sex, that then it's more biologically more correct, technically, and more clear that in an asexual reproduction, only one sex is involved, and there may or may not be the formation of gametes. Correct, everyone?
Yes.
Whereas in a sexual reproduction, both sexes are involved with the gametogenesis happening. Now, those both sexes can be present in the same body or in two different bodies, like in a different male and a different female, or a same body which is hermaphrodite. So now one parent or two parents, one individual or two individual is no more a part of definition, but for questions that will be asked in entrances, it is sex oriented. So it's both the sexes present or only one sex is present. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. So you understood this. So write down asexual reproduction. Let's write down the definition of it. Write down asexual reproduction. In an asexual reproduction, a single parent, in bracket write down sex, because I think NCERT still uses the word parent, but you understand now, right? A single parent, bracket mein a single sex, is capable of producing offsprings
So can you repeat from parent?
Yeah, oh, yeah, sure. In asexual reproduction, what did I say? In asexual reproduction, a single parent, bracket in bracket write down a single sex, is capable of producing offsprings. Similar to itself. You should not use the word similar. Write down same as itself. Same as itself as the parent. And in the bracket, you can write clones. Full stop. Can someone repeat what I just said? What did you write, Yamuna?
Sir, we could even tell morphologically and genetically similar.
Acha, you have a question. Okay, I'll come to that. Just repeat what did I say, because it's not complete yet. What did you write?
A
In
single
asexual
parent.
reproduction, a single parent bracket a single sex is capable of producing offsprings same as itself in bracket clones.
Yes, right. Now write down. Next line. There may or may not be gametogenesis involved. There may or may not be gametogenesis involved without any fusion of gametes. Without any fusion of gametes. Okay, everyone done? Now coming to Mamuna's question. All the offsprings are genetically identical. That's why they are called clones, right, Mamuna?
Yes, sir.
Yes. We'll come to this genetic similarity part, then we'll go to sexual reproduction. Let's just complete both the definitions first. So first definition is complete. Now can you all write the definition for sexual reproduction on your own, contrasting to the one for asexual?
Yes.
Yes, so I give you 1 minute. Please write the definition for sexual reproduction. Same terms, contrasting, and then I'll ask someone to tell what they have written. The time starts now, right? In class assignment. When you are done, just say done.
Done, sir.
Okay, others? Okay, so Mamna, would you like to repeat what you have written and repeat it like a dictation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Both parents' sexes is capable of producing offspring similar to itself. There may or may not be gametogenesis involved without the fusion of gametes.
No. Sexual reproduction, both sexes has to be involved, okay? It has to be opposite to asexual reproduction, you understand? So may or may not. If there is no gametogenesis, then how will sexual reproduction happen? So for sexual reproduction, you will write. Anyone else who has completed the definition?
I completed, sir. I wrote it a little differently.
Would you like to get it so that we can understand what?
In sexual reproduction, two parents or sexes are required to produce offsprings.
Perfect.
Then gametogenesis and gamete fusion are necessary for sexual reproduction. I wrote it like in a compact way.
Yes, right. So gametogenesis and gamete fusion are necessary. And what about the genetic makeup?
So that I think there will be like slight variation.
Yes. So do you understand, Mamuna? Now, what mistake did you commit?
Yes, sir.
So both sexes has to be involved. Gametogenesis and gamete fusion both has to be involved necessarily. and all the offsprings are genetically different. They are not genetically identical. All the offsprings are genetically different, and they are even genetically different from the parents. They are also different from the parents, and they are also different among themselves. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Everyone has completed the definition. If anyone is still not completed, please ask.
So can you give 1 minute? I want to add one more point about the genetical variation.
Yes, I said that all the offsprings are genetically different, and they are also different from the parents genetically on the level of genes. And why they are different, this is what we are going to take up next in the process of gametogenesis and all. So you understand that they are genetically different. In sexual reproduction, there is a genetic variation that occurs, and that variation is the fundamental basis of evolution and evolving different traits and characteristics. To just give you an example, you will find that sometimes there are parents, let's say the father has black and straight hair, and the mother has curly blonde hair, but the offspring can have black and curly hair, or blonde or straight hair, right? So it's a very different combination from both the parents. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Because this is called genetic variation. So certain characteristics change. There is a mix up of different characteristics, and a new characteristic emerges through sexual reproduction, which is not at all possible in asexual reproduction, because asexual reproduction is simply making clones, photocopying. It's just like photocopying something. So parent is making its photocopies. That's asexual reproduction. In a sexual reproduction, there are genetic variations among the offsprings. Everyone is clear with this thing? Shall I move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, next part, I'm giving you some assignments. So after every class, I'll be giving you some small take-home assignments that will keep you engaged to strive for this knowledge and learning. You have to brush up because you have done this. You all have studied meiosis and mitosis.
Yes.
Yes.
So write down as assignment, you have to today brush up mitosis and meiosis. What is mitosis? What is meiosis? Okay. And you also have to brush up DNA. What is DNA? And genetic material. These terms are all done in previous classes. Just brush it up. Chromosomes. You have done these terms. And the third thing that you have to brush up is haploid and diploid. While brushing up meiosis and mitosis, you will automatically brush up haploid versus diploid. What are these things? Okay. So when I meet you tomorrow, so our classes will be Saturday, Sunday, right? So tomorrow also at the same time, we'll have this class. So tomorrow you have to come prepared by brushing up these things. Will you do it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So in tomorrow's class, what we are going to do is we will be understanding the reason for genetic variation in sexual reproduction and how that arises and what is the process of gametogenesis. Now, let me tell you one thing. I will not strictly go by the flow that is given in the NCERT or your textbook, because sometimes it assumes that you know certain things already, which I am not assuming here. Okay. So sometimes we will take a detour or we will derail from the main topic and go to certain topics which are important, like mitosis and meiosis is important to understand gametogenesis better. Okay. So cell division you have already done in class 11th in detail, but we'll just brush up those things before we go into gametogenesis so that you never forget or never mug up anything. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
for the
sir.
assignment, you just have to write like a few points about each of the categories, right?
Yes, so the assignment is you have to read it for yourself. So the assignment that I'll give in the classes are mostly read yourself assignments. Apart from them, after every class you will be given some MCQ assignments. Okay, so whatever I have taught you today, so today it was mostly the foundation of biology and just the beginning of reproduction as a chapter. So we have not done something in detail so that I can give you questions like from entrance perspective, because everything is just on the surface right now. But for this, yes, you have to read what is meiosis, mitosis, and while you are doing that, it's very important that you make certain notes, correct? Because if you're not making notes, then you're not fulfilling the purpose of doing assignments, taking assignments, correct?
Yes.
So is it clear for everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have Mariam joining in. Just Mariam, are you there? Are you the right Mariam I'm expecting? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, sir. I'm Mariam and I'm from Maharashtra, but I'm living in Oman.
Okay. No, you're not the Mariam I was expecting. Okay, fine. Yes, Mariam. You joined for biology class?
No, sir.
Okay.
Not.
Okay, fine. So you are few minutes early because I'm just finishing up with the biology class. You can wait in the. We have also Shravya joining. Shravya there? Did you join?
Yes, sir.
Did you join for biology class?
No, sir.
Okay, fine then. It's not a problem. Anyways, I was just finishing up, winding up. Okay, so everyone who are there for biology, this is your assignment. Just write certain points about it, and in the next class we'll be discussing the fundamental basics of genetic variation. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.